Hello everyone, I'm San. You're listening to San Huyen Podcast. How have you all been lately? Are you well? Anything new? Share it with me. Normally, people think of my podcast as a source of healing, motivation, and positivity. Today, I want to change things up a bit. I feel like it's been a bit repetitive and boring. So, in this podcast, we're going to be negative, and our topic will be revenge. Revenge sounds very dark and full of negativity, doesn't it? That's right, don't expect it to be positive or bright. And if you're feeling a deep hatred for someone, very angry, wanting revenge, wanting someone to regret, then perhaps this podcast is for you. I'll share with you ways to get revenge, a worthwhile kind of revenge. We humans live in this world with greed, anger, and delusion. Inevitably, as we navigate life, there will be people who make you feel dissatisfied. That could be a classmate who criticizes you in front of others, saying, "Oh my God, your shirt is ugly," or "Your hair looks messy today." Or a friend who goes and tells your crush that you have feelings for them, how annoying. Growing up a bit, when we go to work, colleagues might badmouth you to the boss, or no matter how hard you try, your boss never acknowledges you. You hate this company, you desperately want to leave, feeling resentful inside. When we fall in love, passionately by each other's side, only for one day to be betrayed, with them choosing someone else. You're incredibly hurt and wish you could make them feel the same pain you've experienced. You wish that those who hurt you would also pay for their actions. That's a very natural human emotion, and of course, sometimes these emotions lead to a lack of self-control. Mildly, it might be in words. Severely, it could lead to actions, even illegal ones, causing someone to be gone forever. I remember when I used to work at a small company, there was an HR lady. She was always very gentle and calm with everyone, never harsh, but I saw in her eyes, they weren't cheerful. There was a lot of sadness there, many unspoken things. And I remember, by chance, one time when a few of us sisters were chatting, people suddenly asked, "How can you always be so calm? Do you have a secret? Please share it with us." And she told us that in reality, she's like everyone else, she has those feelings too. And once she had a terrible boss. He criticized her to death, gave her very negative evaluations, and never gave her a chance to explain. So on her desk, she had a few plants. She unleashed her anger on those leaves, tearing them to shreds. She was silent. She didn't say anything, didn't show anything, but those plants were in tatters. Thinking about that image of the plant, I still remember it to this day, and I relate it to myself. Have I ever killed a plant out of anger? Have I ever destroyed anything out of anger? People often throw phones, smash vases, they might tear up clothes or do something else, but I haven't. I've never smashed a phone just because I was angry. Probably because I'm too stingy, guys, but I think the thing I hurt the most is myself. When I'm angry, when I feel hurt, the thing I shatter the most is myself. And it reminds me of the story where I lost 7 kilograms because of a broken heart. I don't know how many times I've mentioned this, but it was really the biggest time in my life where I hurt myself that much, you guys. It doesn't happen often. So, I can only use it as an example to make it easy to imagine why I lost up to 7 kilograms because of a broken heart. I hated life at that time. I thought I was the only person in the world who felt terrible, the only one in this life who wasn't loved, something like that. I don't know why. My mom loved me very much, always by my side, taking care of me, but at that moment for a girl it was only about the guy. The person I loved so much, and we weren't together anymore. But anyway, sadness was still sadness, hatred was still hatred. I hated life like, life didn't give me a perfect person making me so sad. I didn't eat much, I had no appetite at all. At that time, I had no desire to eat, you guys. They say mental state is very important. If you lose your spirit, you don't even want to live properly anymore, you guys. That was a period I think was the worst of my life, because back then I was still naive and foolish. I didn't know how to love or appreciate, I just exaggerated my pain. In that moment, the person I once loved so much, I only wanted them to suffer, you guys. Thinking back now, I feel so terrible, but honestly at that moment, there was so much hatred inside me that I couldn't wish him happiness. I couldn't because we couldn't be together, we couldn't continue a wonderful relationship. So don't even dream of being happy. I'm here, I can't eat or drink, I'm so angry, I really want revenge. I prayed that you wouldn't be happy. That's exactly how I felt then, wanting revenge. But then I asked myself, if If tomorrow something happened to him, maybe it's harsh to say, but what if he had an accident or got sick and was no longer in this life? I don't think I would want that. That was when it took me the most time to heal myself, because I had hurt myself so much, drinking tears instead of soup. Isn't that scary? Surely some of you share similar feelings. It might not be about love, but it could be about work. When you enter the business world, you sometimes encounter unkind people who play dirty tricks on you, undermine you. They snatch your deal to close with your client. You lose money, lose partners, you're extremely annoyed. You want to get back at them, but what can you do now? So, what is the most valuable revenge? If you think about revenge, what comes to mind? It's worth telling you another example of revenge from near my home. Actually, not too close, maybe a kilometer or two away, but the story was so famous that the whole area knew about it. So, these two people were in love, but for some reason, they had a falling out and broke up, and the guy couldn't accept it. He brought a bomb to her house, embraced her, and they died together. Oh my God, I honestly don't know the outcome. I don't remember anymore, it was so long ago. My memory still holds that story, and it's truly terrifying. And now, when you read newspapers or watch the news, we're not too unfamiliar with things like this. Do you think that's the most valuable way to get revenge? Even the US and China are using a lot of Cold War tactics to get revenge on each other. Everyone wants to be dominant, everyone wants to win. China has long disliked foreign social media apps. It's like they're smart enough to know that foreign apps will take user data. And now TikTok is facing expulsion from the US. Yeah, that's also a way people take revenge on each other, you guys. So, what is the most valuable revenge? Of course, this is San Huyen Podcast. This is my opinion and my sharing along with my experiences. You may agree or disagree. That's not important. What's important is, if you feel we resonate with each other, I'll be very happy. And if you don't resonate with me, please keep listening, because you never know, it might make a lot of sense. They say that when we harbor anger inside, it's like holding poison in our mouths, and I've experienced this and observed it, and it's true. When you're with someone and you feel very happy, it's like flowers blooming in your heart. You're joyful, so comfortable your heart feels light. Like a child skipping and dancing, running around with a teddy bear, you guys. But when we're angry, when we hold grudges, everything is dark. Our face is contorted, our heart feels heavy inside. Our head is stressed, wondering what to do to make them regret it, to get revenge. The pain is inside us. We ourselves are in pain internally, and that stress will turn into illness if we experience it for a long time. If you think that when you're hurt by a girl or a guy, you, a good guy or a good girl, want to become a bad person, a bad boy or bad girl, like, I don't need love, I just want to hurt others. Because I want to get revenge on my ex-lover. Do you think that's the best way? Is it worth becoming a terrible person just because of someone else? Is it worth it to spend so many years of your life thinking of ways to get revenge on someone? Is it worth it? Every moment you spend thinking about revenge, you're living someone else's life. I know it's not easy, it's hard. But the best way to get revenge on someone is to live better, to live happier. Even if you have to climb out of a mud puddle, you must keep walking and walk tenaciously. The best revenge is for them to one day see you successful, happy, with a wonderful family, and you don't even remember them anymore. You don't even remember the hurts you experienced before. You have your own career, you strive for yourself, and you don't even bother remembering who messed with you back then. You've forgotten everything, and you're even willing to open your heart to give them a chance or help them in life. Perhaps the most valuable revenge is to forget to forget. Sometimes it's not because they deserve it, but because you deserve peace. It's as simple as that. This is not easy at all, because when negative energy surrounds us, it only wants to drag us down. And when we can no longer control our thoughts, it starts to turn into actions, and you will hurt yourself and hurt others. The ex I once loved, at first I still hated him, but then I realized, to still hate means to still love. To still hate means to still care. As time passed, I grew up a bit more, I started to love again, and then I no longer harbored any hatred towards my ex. Even now, I always wish them a happy family and success in their own lives. I don't hate anyone, because whenever I hate someone, my heart burns, it's hot like fire, and it makes me very tired. I'm not saying I don't feel annoyed. Sometimes I meet people, and I don't feel happy to see them, you guys. I'm no angel either. Sometimes I do get annoyed. It's just that they're not worth existing in my mind anymore. Ultimately, the most valuable revenge is to ignore them. They hurt me, ignore them. They played dirty with me, ignore them. Sometimes you just have to ignore it, guys. Now, from what I've received from what they left behind, whatever I can salvage, I will salvage. When the person you love leaves, leaving your heart shattered, at least you still have the fragments. Now I'll sit and piece them back together, gilding the cracks with gold. Suddenly, that heart becomes a high-quality, special, shimmering masterpiece. Through wounds, people become strangely more beautiful, you guys. Beautiful because of that depth. When we still blame, harbor anger, hold grudges, we still haven't truly grasped the lesson we need to learn. Some things in this world hurt us so we can learn something. I find that the more experienced people are, the stranger their charm. They have a carefree attitude that's hard to understand. Older, but sometimes sharp, yet sometimes very naive and carefree. It's like they've understood a lot about life, so they don't scheme or worry too much. But how do you ignore? How do you become carefree? How do you forget all that pain? In the worst circumstances, I still often think, what should I do now to make myself better? I don't use my energy to think about others like, what should I do now to make them regret me? What beautiful story should I post so that crush regrets not agreeing to go out with me? San thinks that in those moments, we should think about how we should continue living and what kind of person we deserve. It's a choice, you guys. There's a story about a younger friend of mine. When she was little, her teachers were a bit hard on her, disliked her a bit, because she was girly. Back then, teachers thought that students who were a bit girly wouldn't study hard. And the revenge she took wasn't about hating or playing dirty tricks on her teachers. She simply tried her best in her studies, passed the university entrance exam, and was among the top scorers in her class. And later, when she became successful, she returned to support the school and contribute to its underprivileged students. That's also a truly wonderful way to get revenge, because at this point, they'll admire you immensely. You've taken revenge through your own success, and both sides benefit. You become better, more amazing, creating more value for society, while the teachers also learn their own lesson about treating students a little more fairly. You know, in this life, when we continue to harbor grudges in our hearts, it means we are living someone else's life. We are focusing our goals on others. The best way is still to ignore it, focus on yourself, live your own life, and becoming gloriously successful is even better. So successful that you don't even need to say it. People just know you're successful. They will regret immensely not befriending you back then, having treated you poorly, having disrespected you. So now they can't be close to you, right? The most valuable revenge is, I don't care. I will continue to live my life, to live wonderfully and brilliantly in my own way, and happily in my own way. I will use all this resentment as motivation to become valuable and better. And then I'll have more power to get revenge on you, but once you have that power, you won't even want revenge anymore. Over time, through experiences, you'll realize more and more, you'll see everyone's suffering, and you'll truly forgive them. But there are also pains so great that someone has to spend their whole life in hatred, and I respect everyone's decisions. I just hope no one is hurt so deeply that they can't forget. And I would like to conclude this podcast episode with a story. The story is about a little girl whose father passed away when she was 2 months old. A few years later, her mother left to marry someone else. She grew up with her paternal grandparents, and her grandmother was a step-grandmother. She lived without the love of a father or mother. Years and decades passed, and she never once looked at her mother's face, even when she had the chance to meet her. She never acknowledged her as my mother, and harbored that resentment in her heart for many, many years. Until one day, much later, when she herself became a mother, she went through many ups and downs in life, giving birth, raising children, watching them grow up. And one beautiful day, she wanted to visit her mother. Surely she had cried so much, been hurt so much, hated so much the mother who abandoned her. But in the end, the person she thought she could never forgive, she chose forgiveness. She chose not to hate anymore, no longer wishing her mother suffering, because her mother had also gone through too much pain throughout her youth. The most valuable revenge is to forget, to forgive yourself, to forgive others, and to start life anew. Thank you for listening, and I'll see you in the next podcast episodes.